3 shots, 4 par, I just do 2. 1 putt, par 4, birdie, woohoo. New driver, info, replace, M2, par 5, fairway, what you fin do? Think I'll try to get on into. Start right, good line, good view, it drew. Shooter McGavin, 2 thumbs that's up high.
Episode number 117. Bryce, we're getting deep in this.
Yeah, I know.
We've been doing this
120. 120 is approaching.
120 coming up. So 117 straight Fridays. This week we have Jesse Galvon. Can we go with co-founder Jesse at G-TECH Apparel?
Yep.
All right,
yes,
I like it. So yeah, we're Bryce and I both just got hammered here with snow. So we've been talking about getting warm, keeping the hands warm, things like that. So this is a pretty cool pod for us to have exactly at this moment. Probably about a foot of snow on the ground, and I just finished getting in from snow blowing. So Jesse, maybe give us an idea who you are, kind of your involvement with G-TECH. I will say up front, Bryce and I might slip up, Jesse. We've had a company on, our friend Paul Park. I don't know if you know G-Pod.
G-Pod. No,
G-Pod.
What do
they do? Like a camera mount.
Great product.
Goes in your golf bag. You just pop your phone on it. It's pretty awesome.
It's essentially an alignment stick with a magnet.
Yeah, it's sweet.
It is the most simple thing, but yet the most genius. Like, I can't believe no one came out with it before him.
And the name. So if I slip up, man, do not hesitate to clean it up, set me straight. It's okay. But if Bryce and I slip up, by all means, man, let us know. But yeah, Jesse, who are you? Kind of, what's everything going on at G-TECH? And
there it is.
Yeah, already. Let's get it out early. And maybe just kind of, who you are off the course. This isn't just going to be a golf pod. I think we got a lot to get into with this one, so I like it.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll give a brief background on myself. Born and raised in Calgary, Alberta. Started playing golf when I was 18 months old. Dad put the golf club in my hand and instantly fell in love with it. Lots of competitive golf growing up in different junior events, both provincially and nationally, and some even internationally, I guess. Was really lucky to get a golf scholarship to the University of San Francisco. I played for 5 years down there. Didn't pursue golf professionally after college. Wanted to kind of get in the corporate world, start making some money, start traveling a bit. Worked in IT consulting for 5 years, and then saw one of the very first G-TECH samples, a heated hand warming pouch. And I'll get into what our technology is and how it works, but basically saw one of the first samples and said, there might be a business model here. I got lots of contacts in the golf world, specifically in Calgary. Let's order 500 of these and let me just see if I could sell them. And the first 500 units arrived, put all of them into the back of my SUV, went around to every golf course where I knew a head pro, a buyer, had any relationship, and ended up selling all 500 in a day, which was great.
In one day.
In one day, all
Nice.
500. So some clubs grabbed 20, some grabbed 50, but was able to clear out the whole kind of order in a day, hitting probably 12, 14 different courses. And that was awesome. The really cool part was back ordering and having to order more product. But the real aha moment and what made me want to join the company full time was the feedback saying, yeah, this is great for golf and we get you're here. But what about every hockey mom in a cold weather rink? What about people who hunt and fish? What about people who work construction outside? And that really got my mind racing to this is a lot more than golf. So that's kind of how the company actually was created, was really organically.
Man, I love those stories when you hear I just took a shot, grabbed 500 in a day, just kind of fired them out. And then that light bulb goes off to talk about all the other things, like all the other ventures and avenues and where you guys have kind of expanded the product to. We've been chatting for a few minutes, and it's something that we want to get into, all the different I guess just areas that G-TECH covers, right? So can you give us an idea like how the creation is? We'll come back to some of the other sports or activities that might be using the product, but kind of the creation of it. You said you had kind of seen like a prototype essentially, right? So how did it come together? Like when the idea was coming together, was it like a partner of yours? Did you guys source out anything? Like how did you come up with the technology, the thought to kind of build it together?
Yeah, so once we knew there was a market, I would say, for it, then we really wanted to fine tune the product. So identifying the market, having that first initial day with the feedback was great. And we did some market, research. And then we literally took a core team and we moved to Boston, got a Airbnb across from MIT, and that team would just go to MIT every day, and we were looking for electrical engineers and product designers. And once we built that team, we ordered every type of heated clothing that existed on the market at that time. So that could be heated pouches, heated gloves, heated glove liners, heated mitts, sweaters, jackets, vests. If it was heated and was any type of clothing garment, we ordered it. And we sat down with that team and we laid everything out. And we said, what do we like about this product? What do we don't like? And what we found very quickly onto that R&D project was all heated clothing companies were trying to heat a really large heating surface, which didn't heat that hot and didn't heat that hot for very long. So for every square inch of heating surface that you add, it basically makes it's tough to heat up a large heating surface, and it drains the battery. So we took a small heating strip and we rolled it, and we created it over a soft, flexible bar made out of a mesh fabric that you can hold onto with your hands. So instead of trying to heat the chest, the back, the arms, and all these different body parts, we specifically heated the hands. And we were very fortunate that one of our engineers was actually dating a girl who was going to medical school. And from kind of a medical standpoint, we learned very quickly that if you want to heat one thing and heat it hot, it's your hands, feet, or head.
Yeah.
And specifically for us, we wanted to heat the hands. And if you can heat the hands, you do actually warm up your whole core body temperature, which is cool.
Well, you hear that like as a kid too, like your parents say that, right? So like that travels around, word travels around, and like just kind of getting, like, I know, and Brycer knows, like Brycer works in construction. So like, you know, you get like your hands warm, your feet warm. I'm always driving too. Like I'm always out on the road. So you keep the feet warm, you always kind of feel warm too, right? Has it always been a heated product? Like right since the infancy, the idea was always structured around like a hand warmer product?
A battery powered hand warming product. And, you know, we started the company 9 years ago now, which is crazy to think. For the last 7 years, our technology from a core, and that's what our patents are around, has stayed very consistent. It's a soft, flexible, heated bar that's battery powered with 3 custom heat settings, high, medium, and low for the various heat temperatures. So we've made technology advancements. I'd say our biggest advancement has been year on year, continuing to extend our battery life. You know, one of my biggest frustrations as an industry as a whole, if you look at Apple, every year I buy the new iPhone expecting the battery to last a full day. And I do spend a lot of time on my phone, work, business, personal. Still to this day, they've been unable to provide a phone that literally lasts the whole day. So same for us. I wish we could have it last longer, but we continue to year on year work with our different partners and different manufacturers to find batteries that do last longer each year on year, which is we're a new model that we release, I should say.
Can you buy, sorry, question, I'm not just unsure. Can you buy like multiple batteries for the product so you can carry some with you? Yeah.
So the really cool thing with each product, you have your core product, and our different heating products are a heated pouch, which is that fanny pack pouch, a heated hoodie, and a heated vest. And then it comes in a real slick package box. So because we're in a lot of key retailers, and I'll talk about where it's currently sold, but really high-end Apple-style packaging was one of the things that our retailers mandated. So in that box, you get your heated package, and you also get 1 battery, but then you get a wall charger that can actually charge 2 batteries at one time.
Nice.
So 40% of our customers actually order a spare battery, doubles your lasting hours, and you don't need 2 chargers to charge them, which is nice. So we always encourage and we always upsell and find ways to promote and give discounts for people to order a spare battery, because then they use it more and more people see it.
Big time. Yeah, you just made Mac very happy with the pack. He's a big packaging guy. He loves to see a nice packaged package box.
Can you set the heat, Jesse? Is it just like one consistent like level?
3 different heat settings, high, medium, and low. We do have on the project map a app that will allow you to control the heat from 0% up to 100%. The problem with the app is the app then requires a Bluetooth connection, and that Bluetooth connection pulls from the battery. Right. And we're trying everything we can do to make it. So between our 3 heat settings, and we've tweaked over the 7 years from our core technology what those heat settings are. We've now honed in on red is honestly nuclear hot. It's -20. I'm ice fishing. I need really hot heat. In our user manual, we tell people don't use it, and whether that's not negative temperatures, because that's how hot it really gets.
Right.
Then you have orange, which is a real comfy heat. It does heat up that hot. And then you have green is our low heat, which when we talk about the different markets we sell to, there's lots of people that actually use our product indoors. And that's one that a lot of them use it for.
I don't know if you said it, Jesse, I might have missed it. Do you have an idea of what the battery life is right now?
Yeah. Yeah. So depending on the temperature you use it in, on high, you'll get 2 to 4 hours. On medium, you'll get 3 to 6 hours. And that's our most commonly used heat setting. And then low, you can get anywhere from 6 up to 12 hours, actually. So
Nice.
the
Okay.
colder the temperature you're using it in, the lower they'll affect those battery ranges. And those are hours lasting anywhere from room temperature used inside up to -20 Celsius.
Right.
I like it. So yeah,
And
like,
obviously, if you go buy the spare battery and your battery dies, you can just pop the new one in. You get a whole new set of hours. So.
You double everything. So, on medium, getting, a solid kind of call it 4 to 6 hours, double those. If you're outside for more than 8 to 12 hours in a day, I don't know.
You're a bit nuts.
You deserve to be cold for a little bit of that.
yeah, if you're out,
We have some customers
yeah.
who literally order 3 or 4 spare batteries because they just never want it to die. When I still play a lot of competitive golf, and when I go play a tournament, I literally, part of the reason I do is for me, I'll charge up 4 or 5 fully charged batteries so I can just run on high the whole day. But the other part of it is a lot of guys that play in the events I play in now have them, and they're always like, "Oh, I forgot to charge my battery," so I can go, "Here you go, here you go."
Yeah, that's like me. I have a heated sweater. I'm not going to name what company it's from, but I have 4 batteries, and I just always have them on me.
Just keep the juice going. Can we speaking of which, can we talk about the lineup a little bit, Jesse? Kind of some of the other products that you guys have in, some things that you might be kind of bringing to market in the future, if you're able to share any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So the first product we started with is what we call our heated pouch sport. So this was when we originally started the company, there was a lot of our emphasis was on sports performance. And I can talk to the traction we've had with those different sports leagues and players, but our sport pouch is now on its 3rd generation. So every 2 years, we usually release a new generation. So Sport 1.0, Sport 2.0, now we're on Sport 3.0, our latest and greatest model. So that started as one black colored sport pouch. We now have over 25 different variations of that pouch, including 10 different core colors in the sport. So all the main colorways, black, white, blue, green, red, pink, orange, all your major colors, which is awesome for giving people a new kind of color variation. And then we partnered with Realtree to create our Realtree Stealth pouch. Instead of a sport pouch, we call it our Stealth pouch because we cover the button on it, the LED button, because you don't want to be out hunting with a real bright button.
Love that.
And that comes in Max 5, Timber, and Edge, which are the 3 most popular Realtree patterns. And then we have our military grade pouch. That's a stealth version as well, where the LED button's covered. It's the stealth pouch is a Realtree, and the military grade have a much tougher, rougher, more industrial outer fabric to protect them from the use of the elements they're in, which is usually more rugged. They're only $10 more US and have a much more beefed up kind of feel to them. And the military one comes in kind of 8 different military camo patterns. And how that pouch was created was really cool. We actually got approached from some different U.S. military agencies and government groups to create a specialized product for them. So they're a big partner and kind of sales market for us. So those are our 3 main pouches that now are over 25 different pouches, which is really cool. And then we just released our new heated hoodie and heated vest 2 months ago.
Nice.
Which I'm really excited about. So those are just kind of hit market right in time for, Cyber Week shopping, holiday shopping. So one of the things we always do on new product drops is go to all our customers, our key partners, our clients, and say, what do you like, what you don't like? So we're getting tons of great feedback, and we'll continue to kind of take that and come out with new versions of those. But those are our current product lines, the pouches, hoodies, and vests. And then for next year, we're working on a jacket for next fall, and then we're also starting to look at getting into some kind of more rehab technology where it's a sleeve you can wear, it's a for your arm or for your leg to be able to warm up other body parts other than just the hands, because I've had a ton of traction and success with the hands, but if I had $1 for any time someone said, how do I heat my feet or how do I heat my arms or my legs, I'd be a rich man. So we know people want to do more than just the hands, and we want to be able to deliver that to them.
That button cover is a huge check mark for me. Very underrated, because as much as you as much as everyone doesn't think that a deer or a hunting will see that light, they will. So that's a pretty cool feature there.
Just a nice little Velcro flap. You just pull it up,
cool.
control on off in the 3 heat settings, and just put it back down.
That's a cool feature.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I'm just looking through here. So water resistant material, premium weatherproof outer shell protects your hands from the harsh winter elements. So the sweater itself is water resistant, or the package, like where the hands go in the pocket are?
But so both are. So okay. All of the outer of all of our products are all wind resistant, water resistant, and treated with material. It's really cool. If you pour water on it, it literally wicks right off. And then internally, inside all of those, we have different moisture wicking fabrics and technology that we work with, so that if any water does get in it, because all of our products are machine washable, and all of our products can actually be worn in the snow and rain and can get really wet. You can't, cool. I call it go swimming with them.
Yeah.
If it's torrential downpours and like absolutely, monsoon, a little different than light rain or light snow, but they're meant to be worn in harsh environments where it is cold and possibly raining or snowing.
Man, like anybody who was just out kind of hitting the snowblower like I was, or Bryce was riding the quad around the property, this would be perfect for it. I also too think, like Bryce mentioned, like the underrated like flap for the hunting and stuff like that. I'm not a hunter. I don't understand that part as much, but the idea of putting your hands in your pocket and having something to hold on to is like satisfying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you drop your hands in like the pouch in front, you just have something there. Like it's just, I don't know, kind of engineering like that is pretty cool. I feel like I'm kind of walking through it in my mind and walking up like a fairway on Port Hope, and it's just like freezing. You got your hands kind of dipped in the pocket. I like that a lot. Jesse, you guys find that like when you first kind of like when you had founded it, kind of came out as a co-founder, you guys, and the product was invented, you kind of first thought of the sports mindset. You were getting in the golf world. You've expanded into hunting and stuff like that. Are you reaching a lot more people with, like, say, the sport of hunting or golf, or contractors, construction workers, like things like that? Or are you kind of feeling like you're dipping your toes in a lot of different markets with it?
Yeah, so we have 5 core markets. The first being sports, because that's where we got our start. So in the NFL, we have supplied product to every NFL team except for 2 or 3, I believe, over the last 2 seasons. So the majority of all the NFL teams are using and wearing our products. You'll see it on all the Sunday nights leading up to kind of the tail end of the season. Mostly skill position players, quarterbacks, receivers, cornerbacks, safeties, but some O linemen and D linemen and linebackers wear it. It's something we continue to work on. These guys are really, really tough. So like one of the big things we got feedback on, because we go to the NFL equipment manager meeting every year, which is a super exclusive meeting to get FaceTime with the equipment managers and say, hey, what do players like, what they don't like? And even though some players love it, some of these guys are so tough and so competitive that even though our pouch with the battery and heating elements in it is less than 1 pound heavier than a non-heated pouch, they're like, I don't care. I'll just tough it out and my hands will be cold. So even though it provides a great performance aspect and some use it, people would think, why doesn't everyone use it? It's just because A, guys are set in their ways, and B, they literally care about that little bit of weight difference. So to caveat that, we're coming out with a new battery for next year. There will be an ultra lightweight battery. There will be a 1/2 pound, half the weight of our current one. So we hope to continue to get more players to wear it. CFL, we work with, I believe, probably half the teams. One of my big objectives for this year is really ramping up our Canadian exposure again. So that kind of cross off football. In golf, the last 3 Ryder Cups, we have been the official heated pouch supplier to both Team USA and Team Europe. At Whistling Straits in September of last year, we had our entire team there, or I guess 21. We had our entire team there and had some unbelievable success. We had talked earlier before we started the pod about the Paul Casey and Dustin Johnson interaction on the driving range. That went super viral, had millions and millions of views. And in golf, with that Ryder Cup partnership and also going to different golf events, went to the Genesis Open at Riviera in 2019 and snuck on the range, which is kind of a cool pod story. I just, ended up kind of talking my way through a security guard because I had a text from Jim Furyk to get him a pouch during the event.
Yeah.
I said, hey, Jim needs his pouch. I just got to go drop it off. And once I was on the range, there's all these players warming up during a cold week. So because I played college golf, I kind of knew the right way to approach guys, whether they're switching clubs or talking with their coach. And I went up to 40 tour players, some of the biggest, Rory McIlroy, Dustin DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, like Kevin Na, like the top. I tried to target the top guys, and I only had 40 pouches for the week, and every single guy said, put one in my locker. And we have a YouTube video on our YouTube channel that shows all the players that use it, but every guy the next day had it on the range and wearing it during the event. So between the Ryder Cup and going to different golf events, we've gotten most of the top PGA and LPGA players wearing it, which is super cool to see as a core golfer. And then in 2020, we were the official heated pouch provider to the MLB. So all 32 MLB teams have our product and actively wear and use it. So yeah, from just kind of your core big sports, obviously NHL, not a big component for it. We're trying to get some stuff going for Winter Classics for the guys on the bench, but for your key kind of big five sports, we've had some unbelievable success and traction, and continue to kind of work on those.
I got two quick questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Just to circle back to football a little. So the pouches can handle like the rugged, getting tackled, scrunching up, like because it's like that mesh fabric, it can handle it. Yeah.
Exactly. And the battery has a soft kind of, it's plastic, but it's got a soft kind of coating to it, a rubberized coating for those guys, so that if they get tackled and fall on it, yeah, it's not going to feel great, but it's definitely not going to hurt them. We've never had any injuries reported or anything from people wearing our product. The way we've been able to kind of design it and insulate the battery.
It doesn't hurt the product at all. It's totally fine.
They're built. We built and stress test our defective rate, considering the people that use our product, the fact that they're machine washable, and the fact that it's a consumable, wearable electronic, is extremely low.
That's awesome.
Less than 0.5%. And we really care about covering our warranties. So we say normal wear and tear, and sometimes people will beat them up pretty bad, but we'll still usually cover it. But they're designed for, extreme sports and extreme outdoor activities.
That's cool. And then to my second question, I just want to get into a little more detail about how I know you kind of briefly said you snuck onto the range, but maybe before that, like, did you plan on trying to just find your way in like that? Or did you kind of go there hoping you'd run into someone? Like, I kind of want to know, like, when you decided you want to target the Ryder Cup.
We this is a cool story. This is definitely a podcast story. So we have a director in our company that's been with the company almost since day one. Within the first year, his name's Clark Jones. Shout out Clark. Hopefully he listens to this full thing. And he was the lead guy at IMG Golf for like 20 years. So he's a long-standing golf agent. He has relationships with tons of players, the tour. So basically what happened was we supplied in 2016 our pouches to the Ryder Cup team, Team USA and Team Europe, but it was really warm that year. So not a lot of guys wore them at the event, but it still shows how important getting those events going are, because literally 3 years later, Jim Furyk in 2019 emailed the PGA of America, which is our partner for that license, and said, hey, we got these pouches at the Ryder Cup a few years back. Can you put me in touch with someone from the company? I have a lot of interest in getting another one. Plus guys on tour have been asking me about it. So the PGA of America emails me and says, hey, Jim Furyk wants to reach out. Is that okay? I'm like, couldn't answer back fast enough. Like, yeah, like, here's my personal cell. Here's my email. Tell him, call, email, text, whatever he wants. So I get on text with Jim, and super good guy. He basically says, hey, look, love your product. Have one of your older ones. Do you have any newer models? And if you ever come to a PGA Tour event, the guys will be at a cold weather event. They'll be frothing at the mouth for him. Like you couldn't get better kind of embrace to kind of showcase it. So I look at the PGA schedule after talking with Jim, and the next week is Riviera. And I'm like, oh, it's LA, but I'd lived in California. But I'm like, it's February. It might be cold. And it's literally like highs of 65 and lows of 45. So I text Clark, tell him what's going on. And I'm like, I need tickets. I'll figure out the rest. So he gets me tickets, basic access to maybe a little bit higher end access. And I literally just book a flight, take 2 check bags with 40 pouches and batteries and chargers, and head down. And I spent the first 2 days trying to get on the range, couldn't get on the range, but just kind of networked through the Genesis and was talking with people and trying to find ways to promote it. And then on the third day, the Saturday before the last day on the Sunday, is when the different security guard finally let me on the range to just, he's like, you have 5 minutes, just deliver the pouch and leave. I spent like 5 hours just walking up and down the range the whole day. No credentials, nothing.
Mac here from Manscaped. Let's take a quick break from the pod. I'm a beard guy. I got a big beard, so I am happy to introduce the Beard Hedger from our friends over at Manscaped. With 20 different lengths, you can look good from the cart path to the clubhouse. Shop manscaped.com using the promo code OTSGolf for 20% off plus free shipping. Manscaped.com using the promo code OTSGolf, 20% off plus free shipping. Enjoy the back nine. Want to grab a quick question from Instagram. So I got this one posted up a little bit late, but we had a question. Do you guys sign athletes?
We're working on it. So because of all of the licensing that we've done, we've learned a lot about how we're able to create opportunities and marketing initiatives and really track the return on those investments. So because we've been quite young and we've gotten a ton of athletes, some of the best in the world, whether it's football, baseball, or golf, to wear our product almost for free, we've gotten a lot of great content and promotion out of that. But as the company has grown, one of the things we're working on for actually 2023 is starting to sign some athletes. If you look at, what Nike has done or what any big sport company has done, they've leveraged a lot of their marketing off big signings and marquee athletes, but they've done it at the time where they were big enough to be able to support it. Yeah. So some of these guys, especially the top tier guys, for us to want to sign them, you're talking minimum 6 figures up to millions of dollars. So the strategy for this year, and with the cool NIL stuff that you're seeing in college, is starting smaller with some smaller signings and smaller athletes, and then working towards some of those bigger players. So yeah, definitely on the marketing, forecast for this year to start signing some.
You know what though? College football in the States, like, you get so many eyeballs on it. It's not even like a bad, like, it's great place to start in my opinion, just because of the amount of eyeballs that watch college football, especially a Canadian kid like now living in the States, like, to see the difference on how big football is in the state. I knew it was big, but until you like actually see how big it is insane how many people watch college football.
It's truly astonishing. Like, NFL is a massive machine and juggernaut, and obviously they're one that we continue to work with and work on, but collegiate football is, some
whole
people in the US, they don't even care about the NFL. They literally could care less. It's college it's first, crazy. And the NFL is way down. So yeah, we're in a lot of great collegiate schools, from football programs, golf programs, softball, track and field. We have probably 40 or 50 Division I and Division II schools that we've worked with over the last couple of years. And we got a big initiative to kind of get into more of those schools, and starting to get a lot of outreach from students or student athletes, I should say, that are in college that want to work with us. So definitely starting to work on some programs for those athletes. Awesome.
I like to hear that. That's something that Brycer and I have kind of focused in on quite a bit on the pod. We've probably had at least 40 to 50 NCAA athletes.
Or ex-NCAA.
Ex-NCAA coaches, Epson Tour players. That's kind of been like a focus of ours, right? So to try and, our belief is to try and share a platform, if we can get people connected, share their story, and, get any companies or whatever it is, maybe connected with them, or even just have some fans out of it, right? So create some fans and whatnot, which is really cool. So like you went to the University of San Francisco, so you kind of know the idea of going through college golf and whatnot, and obviously be pretty warm there. But I'm kind of thinking too, if anybody's thinking, oh, I might use that, or I might not use it all the time, but if you work outdoors, if you do anything outdoors, like, it's a multi-use product, right? It's something that like, I'm kind of feeling like it might just like not leave the waist right now, or if you got a sweater on, you'd be firing that thing on every day, right? It would be awesome. Like, it would just be
100%. Yeah. And it's funny you bring up San Francisco's weather, because I knew going down it wasn't going to be like Southern California, but there's a very famous quote from Mark Twain that's, the coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. So obviously, compared to Canada, it's warmer, but one of the big reasons when the company started playing golf in Western Canada, but also with my years spent in San Francisco, just really struggling to that dense, wet, foggy, rainy, cold, trying to keep your hands warm. It was just a battle. I used to always literally pull down my shirt and try and put them on different areas of my body to try and just heat up my hands. So yeah, definitely some cold rounds at San Fran, but yeah, that collegiate experience was second to none. And we do a lot of work promo wise and discount wise with colleges that reach out. So You know, I can get to a few of the different markets that we work on as well, but the collegiate one for us is definitely one that we're always happy to give back and support them.
Man, and just to add to you kind of putting your hands in your shirt to find a warm spot, the amount of ease and like how satisfying it is just to put it in a pocket that's right in front of you, and you can pull them out and put them back in. Like the ease of access to it compared to trying to warm them up other ways, even to put them in your pockets, is just, you can't beat it. Anyone who's had a muff probably knows, but it's just so nice having those two pockets right there ready to go at all times.
I'm thinking about my posture walking up like the 14th fairway.
Yeah,
Waters
bag
on the side,
back,
bags on the back, and I'm trying to jam my hands down the back of my pants as I'm walking.
Exactly.
Like, it's just terrible, man. It's terrible.
Now you're just gonna be on you're just gonna have the little waddle.
Problem solved. Problem solved.
You guys are on the G-TECH squad now, so we're definitely sending you both a nice care package of the pouch and the new heated hoodies. So
I appreciate it.
You'll definitely be warm now.
It's it's got to be worth a few strokes in the money game too. Like it's got to be worth something. Like I'm gonna But
so it's funny when I started it, and I still play a lot of competitive events across the country. There would be, you know, maybe one or two guys wearing it on a cold weather event. And last year, our Alberta Open, which is the best pros and amateurs in the province, was freezing cold and rainy, and it actually got called because it just got over, the course got soaked and it couldn't hold the water. And there was, you know, probably 20 or 25 of the guys, and I literally had my phone out. I'd be passing a hole and I'd see a guy in it, and I'm taking and posting and tagging. I'm competitive, I still care, but anytime I can promote G-TECH and the brand at the events, I do. So it's been really cool to see the players, and then guys will message me being like, oh, I haven't got one of those yet, I still need to get one of them. You know, definitely, it's a competitive advantage.
I'm excited because my for when I hunt, I have a bow release for my bow, and it's aluminum, so it freezes when it's cold. So I can just stick that in there now. It'll be nice and toasty.
Anybody you've seen wearing the product, Jesse, that you've just kind of been like, I know we're talking about Jim Furyk, but anybody that's just kind of, you know, you're like, man, like that is something I never expected.
Yeah, like I'll try and think. So like when that Genesis Invitational happened, 5 of the 6 players in the world that week wore it on that Sunday. That was really cool for me. So that's when DJ, Rory, Bryson were all ranked super high, and they all wore it. At the Ryder Cup, actually, Ahmad Rashad, who's Jordan's really good buddy, we have a video of Ahmad Rashad holding it up and showing Jordan, and Jordan kind of looking at it, but realizing it wasn't Jordan and Nike brand. So you can kind of tell he was cautious of it, but he kind of had a cool interaction with them. That one was really cool. All the football players that wear it on those different, you know, like at their primes, you know, we had Cam Newton when he was playing his best football down in Carolina, when our first NFL teams, he wore it religiously. That was really, really cool in like 2016, 2017, when the Panthers were playing really good ball. The U.S. military for me is one that I'm really passionate about. Like the fact that we've sold product to several different special forces groups, Delta, Rangers, like those guys, and some of the photos they've sent us of them using it and wearing it. And, you know, when you're talking about wearing it on a golf round versus a guy wearing it, you know, to save his life, being in a tactical situation, the fact that we can provide any type of comfort for them and allow them to do their jobs better, is really cool. But yeah, lots of great experiences, lots of good time with guys. I'll keep thinking of other names of people that have worn it and used it, but on the golf side, pretty euphoric to see guys that I've, you know, followed and watched their golf careers my whole life. And when we started the company, I always thought, wow, it'd be cool if he wore it. To see those guys wear it was special.
Well, when you mentioned like the military, I was actually talking with a buddy of mine today, and another good friend of mine, Curtis, was in he was in the Canadian military here, and we were talking about how we were at a bachelor party one time, and one of his friends, special forces, gets a call, and he's just gone. Like he's gone the next morning. He's like never heard of. We never see him again. He's okay, but you just don't get too much information, right? But it's kind of you think about like all of I called it like a multi-use kind of, you know, apparel, or like, you know, piece of equipment that can be used in all, like, so many different aspects, right? And I can kind of think about where I'm trying to go with this story. Is he was telling me a lot about their training, and they're kind of sleeping outside, and they only get like a blanket, right? And they have to sleep on the ground. They can only have the blanket a certain height, things like that. And, you know, but just being able to like go out into the I don't know, you know, woods or whatever they're doing, and be able to have something like that just give them some relief would be amazing, man. So, you know, if they ever get in like a combat situation too, to be able to like feel like you're comfortable, or like Brycer said, like, you know, you got like an aluminum bow, anything like that. And it's just like, I don't know, little pieces of comfort that just make everything a lot better. We're walking down, like I said, the 14th fairway, you keep the hands a little bit warmer. It's just, it's kind of like a no brainer, right? It makes like perfect sense. You just strap it on the waist and you go, right?
Yeah, one of our biggest market is corporate gifting, and we do a lot with that, whether it's first tee gifts or Christmas gifts. And one of the big things we push in that vertical is the multi-use function of the product. I'm going to take it out in the morning when I walk my dog because it's cool. Oh, there's a cold, you know, rainstorm coming in. I'm going to play golf. I'm going to use it. The next day, I'm getting up at 4 a.m. to go bow hunting with my buddies. I'm going to use it. So I'm taking my kid to hockey practice and the rink's freezing. So one of the things we love about it, and you know, our product isn't extremely high price, but you know, all of our products over $100 now, so it's not necessarily for everyone. But when you break down the uses and all the different places you can use it throughout the entire year, definitely pretty cool.
You also get what you pay for too. I'm a firm believer in that, and if it works, I mean, if you're going to use it every day or multiple times a week and it works, I mean, it's like you said, it's a no-brainer. I mean,
That's like,
so you brought up,
yeah.
Yeah, you brought up construction. So we had a report ran by a health and safety independent company because we didn't want any of it to be biased. And they took big clients like Suncor and Canna, PCL, big oil and gas and construction clients, and gave them some samples for ground crew to superintendents, like kind of cross spectrum. And they ran the study, and we were hoping to show that it would increase productivity 5 or 10 minutes a day, because over a 6-month winter season, like that adds up to hours and hours and hours. And the data came back actually closer to an hour a day. And we were astounded by that because we were worried that people were going to say, oh, we don't want people standing around with their hands in their pockets all day. But by being able to just put their hands in and out and only grabbing the bar when they needed to, they weren't having their hands in it. They're able to do their job, but then they weren't having to go into their truck to warm up. They weren't having to go inside to warm up. They were literally allowed to keep working the whole day, which actually made them way more productive.
I'd like to hear the complaint levels. They probably lowered a lot because I know a lot of construction workers me included, complain about a lot of stuff. So it was
productivity. It was productivity, health and safety, and just overall worker benefit of just
that's
less
awesome.
people quitting. You know, the cost when someone starts a job and then quits, when they lose that person, that cost adds up to an employer. So they had way higher retention rates. So lots of really cool metrics. We're in Mark's Work Warehouse now. That's a new account for us this year. So really testing what that workforce kind of market looks like for us in Canada. But so far, initial really good feedback, and also working with their commercial team on trying to get to all of those big Encana's, Suncor, PCL clients, showing them the product and getting them to outfit their workforces.
Have you guys had any, I guess, like if it's a construction company or anything like that, give you the idea or look to implement it as like part of like a uniform, like a work uniform?
Yeah, so one of our project on the project maps is kind of a coverall, a workwear coverall.
Nice.
Okay.
Yep.
That's already
Huge.
built in. Because like with the hoodie, a lot of construction guys can't wear the hood, so it's got to be a crew neck because of the safety. And then they're already wearing reflective things over their vest or over their hoodie. So we've gotten some great feedback. Having the core pouch and now the core hoodie, for some people that don't have to worry about the neck capture, are two great new products for that market, but definitely want to create more of a, I would call it, integrated solution to what they're already wearing.
Yeah, I like that because that was one of the things like that. The more I think about it, the more, you know, you're using it for like multi-use things. Like it's not just a golf thing. This is a golf pod, yeah, but like if you get one of these, like I'm thinking about like I'm taking my little guy like on Halloween. It was like kind of raining. It was freezing. I'm like carrying him around, right? I'm just gonna be like wrap him around in that thing, and I'll just have that pouch in front of me, and I'm just kind of carrying him, dropping him when it's time to go to a door or whatever it is, right? So there's just so many different uses, and it's I don't know. We've started the conversation. It's just kind of like I can see Bryce and I just kind of like layering up and going further and further. But
I can name 100 things right now: work, ice fishing, hunting, golf. I'll wear it for everything.
Yeah,
After I have like calls or pods and stuff like this, people text me for weeks after being like, well, have you thought of this? I'm like, well, ice climbing, that's a great one. Like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, like literally anything. And I'm thinking like Jody and Greg here, Brycer's parents.
Yeah, they walk my dog every night.
No, they've been in the hockey rink. Like,
oh, well, that too.
All three of his, like Bryce, his two younger brothers, like they've all played hockey and they're all playing at a very high level. And yeah, so like even thinking like parents, like you said, this is like 50 doubles, medium doubles here that you got to sacrifice to get this thing to keep your hands warm instead of holding onto that coffee. Right?
Great promo. I might steal that for our Canadian little push up here.
There you go.
Yeah.
Even though Timmy's starting to roll down south, they're starting to get more and more stores in the U.S.
Yeah, you just put Timmy's out of business. But it's a little bit of a touchy subject. But do you guys have anything in the works that you can talk about? Any future products you guys have in mind?
Yeah, no, so the jacket's in full production right now. Well, I would call it pre-production. So we go through a pretty extensive, now that we've really got our kind of, I call it big boy pants on as a company. We used to just come up with ideas and like, let's roll this out. So we start basically from what market do we want to penetrate? What product do we want to create to go after that? Go all the way through the design stage, the prototyping stage. So it does take, a year to 2 years cycle. So the jacket is going to be the next one that we onboard because it's very similar to the vest, except has arms on it. Mm-hmm. So because we've already got the vest out and feel really comfortable with that technology, the jacket's going to be next. And then I would say split evenly, the next two products is going to be kind of this full arm warming, full legs warming solution, specifically a lot for athletes. And then definitely a workwear, whether it's a coverall or a jacket, we do have to figure out a workwear piece. And what comes with workwear is you got to do all the intrinsically safe, FR rated, ARC rated for us to fully penetrate that. Different construction services require different product standards. We could just sell some of our current ones, but we know if we want to fully penetrate that market and really go all in on it, we'd have to check all these boxes for that. So those are kind of the new products. And then the last one is one we've been working on for a while, is a foot warming solution. It's hard for us because if you look at our core technology, it's this bar. You can't put a bar in a shoe. You can't put a bar in a sock. So we'd have to completely start from scratch. And we've started on it as to what that foot warming solution will look like. But it's on the roadmap.
Have you guys ever thought about I work construction, so my wheels are turning here. Have you ever thought about partnering with like a company like Carhartt or like Ariat or different companies?
100%. So I don't want to say who on the pod, but it was one of the ones you said. We've started to have some conversations with, because we're awesome. At the end of the day a technology company. Yes, we have different apparel and different products that we've created, but our core emphasis is on creating great heating technology and integrating those into products. So one of the big things we're going to work on in 2023 is our collabs. I have some real exciting ones we're going to do in the golf space with some big brands, both in the hard goods, soft goods space. But on the workwear side, we're definitely looking at partnering with a large company that already sells a lot of gear, and we would essentially just integrate our technology to that.
That's good, because the construction business is big for the heated stuff, especially in the winter and the cold. The guys 100%. Thrive on that stuff. So
and
go ahead, Jesse. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, we got the data to back up how effective it is.
Yeah, that's all right too. Like if you already have it and you've already kind of gone through those theories and whatnot with other companies, or you mix that in, you can kind of show that data, right? So, like you mentioned, it's a technology base, and I'm getting kind of like maybe a little off topic here, but I think if anybody's listening to it and they're kind of their mind's geared like mine, they might be interested in it. Have you had like any other companies like reach out to you to maybe like almost share that type of technology? Maybe like I'm thinking like a car steering wheel, like a gear shift, things like that are because it doesn't just have to be limited to like an apparel company, right? Yeah. Like have you guys thought about bringing it to another level in that sense, or do you like kind of honing in on the apparel, making things perfect in that sense, and then or making it the best product it can possibly be before you kind of move on to bigger or other avenues like that?
It's such a good question, and I would say it's a little bit of both. Our main focus right now, and we say main because we're also looking at some other things that I'll get to, our main focus right now is being the best hand warming technology solution on the market and offering various products for people that want to solely heat their hands. But our end goal is figuring out other heated solutions, i.e. the feet, i.e. the arms or the legs, of other ways we can integrate that tech. And then, yeah, we have had some, I would call it, different stages in the company where we got very, very close to not necessarily an acquisition, but things really taking off. In 2017, we had a 1-year joint development contract with Under Armour and got very, very close to releasing a product with them. Unfortunately, during that year period, their stock took about an 80% hit and they shelved all major projects. And unfortunately, we were part of that. At the time, it really sucked, but looking back at it, the growth we've had since then and what would have possibly been a low acquisition buyout from them, because we're really just getting started at, based on the growth we've had over the past 6 years and how much we've increased our sales and our distribution. Like, you know, when we run through our clients in the US, we're in, 400 plus Dick's Sporting Goods stores and growing. We've worked with Costco. We're working with like major brands there. In Canada, we're in Sport Check, Mark's Work Warehouse, like I mentioned, London Drugs. We're really starting to build out the distribution. So I'm happy in a sense that we're able to kind of bring everything back in-house, own it all, and continue to grow the company. But on the roadmap over the next 2 to 5 years, we'd love to partner with some big brands, and hopefully one of those becomes a potential acquisition partner for us.
Yeah, so seeing you guys now, that Under Armour deal might even hurt you financially.
Honestly, for what the sales we were doing back in 2016, 2017, that they would have modeled the possible acquisition after, is pennies on the dollar to what it is today, based on how we've grown the company. So at the time when we got the call saying, hey, our stock's taking a killing, we're shelving all major projects, and you guys were part of that, but it was a small piece. Like our project with them was, fairly low compared to the hundreds of millions of dollars they had invested in other key products, and it made some huge acquisitions at that time. So getting that call hurt, but looking, everything's hindsight, 6 years down the road,
little blessing in disguise.
Holy moly, did we get lucky there?
That's cool.
You hear so many of those stories too, like if you guys ever watch Shark Tank or Dragon's Den or any of that kind of stuff, you hear those too, like of companies that are, they might deny a deal or whatever it is, and then
be huge.
Now they're ND or something, you know what I mean? Now they're like a massive company or something, which is really cool. Jesse, if we still got you for a couple minutes, we were talking just before we hopped on about Travis Miller a little bit.
Yeah, so I'll come up with some good Travis stories. So I moved to Dallas 3 years ago from Calgary. The board said we got to ramp up U.S. production, sales, and marketing efforts. So we got, I believe at the time, a 2,000 or 3,000 square foot warehouse facility in Dallas. Travis was a local Dallas native, and we had seen what he had built with PGA Memes, his main Instagram channel. He has several, but that's his largest. It's almost 1 million followers now. So our marketing team had reached out to him, and he puts on these things called PGA Memes challenges. And we saw that one was coming up. So we said, hey, how could we get involved in this? And you're a Dallas guy, we're Dallas guys. Can we get together and, hang out? So I think he came back and said, look, sponsorship's like $5,000 for that event. So we went back to him and said, hey, look, we'll sponsor one, but you have another one coming up. We want to play you 2v2. Is him and his agent, Joe. Shout out, Joe. We wanted to play them for basically a $5,000 value. So he's like, who are these G-TECH guys? They're crazy, but they kind of thought, hey, if they're willing to sponsor one, we'll play them for the other one. So we went out and played with Travis. It was my first time meeting him. Just had a blast of a day. I can't say enough good things. I really do owe Travis tremendously for the contacts he's introduced for me, all the influencers, all the partners within the golf industry. Travis is an incredible human being. He's a great marketer. He's done a great job building his channel. But we started to go to these PJ Memes events, and it's the who's who of the golf influencer space. At any one of them, he's got 20, 25 of the top golf influencers. So, we had a charity golf tournament, people are having a couple drinks, you start building these incredible relationships, and you host them at, really high-end golf courses, and, has been a great advocate and a great supporter of the brand. And I have nothing but great things to say about Trav. It's unfortunate I moved back to Calgary, and he's one of my real close friends that I miss from the Dallas days.
Well, now you need the G-TECH all the time, right? We got our intro music is from, I don't know if you've met Roy Blackleroy. at all. So he does like golf. He's a golf rapper. Does a bunch of other like cool stuff. He's with I know he's with Nike actually now. So it's but man, I could just he's posted a couple things. Like he's got a couple sons and he posts some of the funniest content, man. You got to go check him out if you haven't, but he's always linked in our description below. But it's just so funny. And like there was one when they got a bunch of random snow last year in Texas and he was just so pissed off. And I don't know, I can kind of picture him walking around the house with one of these things on.
That was crazy. I thought when I was moving to Dallas, like I knew it would get a little cold in the winter. Yeah. But every year I was down there, we'd have these snowstorms where the city would shut down for 3 or 4 days, like completely shut down. No one is built, with their tires.
Yeah, people's like pipes are freezing in their house and stuff like that.
Less than an inch on the ground.
Pools freezing over, causing massive damage. No, that was crazy. We had the big one 2 years ago where I was staying in an Airbnb at the time, and there was no electricity, no heat. But nowhere to order food, no way to get anything. So like I wasn't stocking a lot of stuff. So like I literally had to live off like granola bars and like just the bare essentials for 3 or 4 days until the kind of infrastructure fired back up.
That was about it, because he's worried about that could have been that might have been it a couple of years ago. He's worried about the podcast, like we were doing a recording. He's worried about it dropping off. So, but yeah, it's like. I don't know, crazy times.
That's funny because we get that and it's just like normal, like everyday life, like nothing happens.
I was up in Yellowknife visiting my sister for Christmas. It hit -60. It's another business as usual up there.
Right? Yeah.
Dallas like literally hits 0 with a little bit of I'm talking this much of a layer, and it shuts down. Like it's the power goes out, the infrastructure, everything. It's over. So yeah, they're not built for this,
man. You got the G-TECH on full blast if you're up there. That thing's like just all the batteries that you can muster just in your backpack, and that's all you need.
Our warehouse wasn't heated, so it sucked during the winter, and it wasn't AC in the summer. So we had massive extremes in our warehouse. So we had days where guys were wearing parkas packing units, and then other day guys are in literally like t-shirts soaked through. So those early G-TECH days packing gear, whether it was cold or warm, in that Dallas warehouse was interesting. And now we've grown to the point where we're so large that we have a big third-party logistics company that handles our distribution across North America. So no longer packing boxes, but yeah, it was 8 years of slugging it out in the warehouses.
Well, Jesse, we really appreciate it. This was Jesse Galvon, the co-founder of G-TECH Apparel. Like, I love these stories of kind of hearing you guys, get it started. You found it, you grabbed 500 units, sold them in a day. And kind of what you guys are doing now. There's a lot of cool stuff on their website about, using these things to help kind of treat and combat arthritis a little bit. So we're going to link all the descriptions or all the links in the description below. There we go. We got it that time. And that video we told on the range, I'm going to go find that video and I'm going to drop in the link. So it's really easy and accessible for people to just go check
and
it out.
Let's fire up a discount for the crew. Let's make it, on the screws. It's good for 20% off. gtechapparel.ca for Canada or gtechapparel.com for any USA customers. So any order, for the next 30 days, we'll do on the screws. Just one word. It's good for 20% off any order.
Awesome.
I like it because if you're dealing with the snow like me, you're going to be checking it out. So we'll throw a link in the description for that as well. And on the screws, appreciate that. That's awesome. That's awesome for anybody listening that's interested in it. Good time to check it out. Jesse, this was great, man. Thank you so much. I know you have a lot of endeavors coming up. We talked about a few things before you got on the pod. You got a lot of things coming up in the future. This was a really fascinating conversation. I had a good time. I know Brycer did too. So we got to loop back, man. We got to have you on, and when we get some of this stuff in our hands, we'll definitely get some stuff out. If anybody has any questions and you want to see how we like it personally, just shoot us a DM at OTS Golf over on Instagram, and we'll chat. We'll tell you how it is, and then go over and check it out.
Yeah, shout out to Mac too for not saying G-Pod.
I think I did okay. I think I did all right. So that was not too bad. I have it written here, so anybody.
He just got in big bold letters.
I'm kind of old school, so here it is here. Eh? It's just like as big as I possibly could on the bottom of the page. But Jesse, this was awesome, man. We'll chat. And if you're ever like when you get up to London, when you guys come out here, when you open up some of the, I know you're doing a couple different things. We'll connect, man. We gotta get together.
We got to. Appreciate you guys so much for having me. Really, really do appreciate it, and yeah, definitely looking forward to following up in the future.
Is out in my ball in the course where I tee up. I lose the ball and I re-up. I miss a fairway, I probably end up in the ocean or maybe the beach. And I'm on a par 5 and I'm finna go reach it. Second was blind, I ain't see it. Feel like it might be an albatross. Worst case scenario.